Are you ready, Jay?
Coach, just in general, the specialist rooms, each position group, how things kind of gone this offseason throughout fall camp, how getting into practice, how do you see the unit?
It's been a fun group. They've probably taught me as much as I've taught them. Having guys who played a lot at a high level. First time I've had 3 guys, as far as kicker, punter, snapper, have done it at a high level, kind of competing with each other, leading each other. So it's been really fun watching those guys come together as a group and continue to excel at the craft.
You mentioned it being a high level. I mean, some might consider this kind of the best group of specialists maybe in the country. I mean, would you agree with that? And then, where do you see them kind of getting to this season in terms of goals helping the team?
Definitely have an opportunity to be. I try to shift the focus on, just our day in, day out, what we can control, and not try to, have the big picture at the end of the season in line. So focus on our fundamentals, our technique, our thoughts. But we definitely have an opportunity to be a difference maker and change the game in a positive way as the season plays out.
Alabama has in the past had an official special teams coach and stuff. With your role specifically, I mean, how does that kind of allow you to work with each specialist individually and kind of maybe have a different impact than maybe a traditional special teams coach?
Just doing special teams, like that's my whole focus. Yeah. Like I'm not with the linebackers ever or whatever. So I'm with the kickers, punters, snappers all day, grooming them, getting them better. Time with the returners, time with emergency snappers, and those kids just having somebody who, hey, they want to swing by the office, say hi, watch the reps in practice. I mean, they got somebody that's just dedicated to what they're doing to really kind of fine-tune, their craft.
How's the progress been in the return game?
It's been good. We got a plethora of guys that we're trying to figure out. Obviously K-Law and Germ are the two with the heavy in-game experience, but got a lot of guys with the ability to make a difference. So still across the T's, dot and I's, making sure we cover all the situations and then ultimately putting the guy back that we feel the most confident in the decision-making processes.
Coaches talked about Nealon getting a scholarship. What was that moment for you in the room, and what was that moment? What was that like for the group?
It was cool. I've been a part of that a couple times in my career, and knew about it for about a week beforehand. So I'm like biting my lip, but he's been phenomenal since I've been here. Leader of the group, hardworking, humble kid. And that's what college football is supposed to be. Like, you show up, you work, you're not needy, you just do your job, yes sir, no sir, and then it played out for him how it's supposed to. So that was exciting to watch.
After the scrimmage, Coach talked about trying to rotate in some younger guys at return man possibly. Who are some of those guys that have shown potential?
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's gotten a lot of reps. Cole Adam, Bach, King Mac, Germ, obviously, and K-Law. Have been the most. Rico Scott's gotten some reps. I mean, we're trying a lot of guys, even if it's not for this immediate season. Maybe it's week 5, you get dinged, and then even for the future. But anybody who wants to raise their hand, we're giving them a good old college try, and they might be fired in a day, they might make it a little longer, but we're getting the work.
What have you seen out of Graham and his transition from a little smaller program to Alabama?
Well, it's kind of cool because, I was at Eastern Michigan. I played against him not long ago. So for him and the maturity he has of realizing, like, for kickers it's different, right? Like, the football is, 13 pounds, it is what it is. Little different shape off of what the quarterback likes, but for the most part, it's the same thing. Uprights are the same, so him having that maturity of, like, he's made big kicks, he's been in the moment, and his understanding of, like, nothing's changed. There's a few more people in the stands, but keeping that mindset of, hey, I've been there, I've done it. Has been fun to watch.
How could someone who was named the best in their position, like Graham last season, improve on what he did last year?
Yeah, so this fall camp, just working on some foot placement stuff, ball contact, getting through it. A lot of boring specialist talk here, right? But golf-wise, I'm a slice guy, right? My hands are behind or my hips are ahead or whatever it is. So just kind of tweaking, club placement, our foot, and our timing on things. But like you said, he's senior. He's been there. He's done it. And we're just kind of fine-tuning some little odds and ends.
Have you had some time to golf in the off-season, taking the group out for
we didn't go as a group. I started for the first time. Actually bought my first pair of clubs, so I'm all in. I'm still terrible, but I'm better now than I was in June. There's no doubt about that.
How consistent have Graham and Burnham been throughout this camp?
Very, very consistent. I mean, James, when I first got here, struggled in spring. I was kind of like, man, this guy's a little overrated. But, I was dealing with some things and just started kicking. But, this fall camp, I mean, he's putting the ball where it's supposed to be. It's high. We're not out kicking our coverage. Has been really great in the pooch punt, short field stuff. That was an emphasis we had this fall, making sure we're not hitting touchbacks. We're changing the game for the defense. And then Graham's, not going to wow you. Like, you're not sitting there in like the Corvette when you go to buy a car, but, the ball goes straight, and he makes them. So it's been a fun group.
Coach mentioned with the kicking, being able to get into Bryant Denny and kicking there, obviously it's going to be different with fans, but how does that change things, whether it's, kind of depth perception, things like that, maybe some of the nuances?
The depth perception is the big deal, and just landmarks. So when you go to a place, you're getting a feel for like, hey, right hash 30-yard line, where am I aiming at? Left hash 25. Like in the stadium, what can I get my eyes to? What's my track? What's my ball do there? And then obviously trying to find, hey, it's a windy day, so now let's go over there and see how that affects the ball movement. But we probably kicked over there, probably conservatively 16 times or so, maybe more than that, since the start of the summer. So making sure we feel comfortable when we get there. And he's a senior, first year here, so kind of playing catch up, so it is his home environment, not a road game.
What would you say